Greetings, pet lovers. Brigid here with First Street Pets, and today we're going to talk about establishing boundaries for your pet sitting business. I started as a professional pet sitter in 1994, so it's been quite a long time. When I first started my business, I decided I didn't want to be the bargain service. I wanted to provide the highest quality service and charge a little more. So what I did at the time was I set my prices a little above average and provided the best service I could. That was a business model that worked for me then and continues to work for me today. Over the years, I have met hundreds of pet sitters, both in person and now even more online, virtually, in conferences, many of whom are now close personal friends and associates. So it really amazes me. These folks are smart, confident, creative, business owners, and pet lovers. It surprises me how often for pet sitters, setting boundaries is a huge problem. So let's talk about the top 4 common boundaries that seem difficult to uphold in this kind of work. Number 1, prices. So the reason you started a business is presumably to make a living. Yes, you love pets and you want to help people, provide good care for those pets. The service aspect of this is very important in the love of animals. However, you start a business so you can make money. Let's be realistic. In order to make a living and support yourself, you need to set prices that work for you. You need to cover your expenses, insurance, your vehicle, whatever else you have, if you're doing boarding, the facility, etc., and etc. And then you have to make a profit on top of that. So you need to set prices that work for you. Now, doing a market analysis of your area is helpful because prices do vary across the country. They're going to be higher in a more metro area, a higher income area, and they're going to be lower in a rural area or a lower income area. But that doesn't stop you from setting the prices that work for you. You would be surprised if someone wants to hire you, they're not going to question the price that you charge for quality service. I can't tell you how many times I hear from pet sitters that they have difficulty setting prices and also raising prices. As the years go by and inflation, you want to raise your prices. I don't understand why this is. Every other business sets their prices and that's it. This is a premium service. People are going on expensive vacations. They're hiring someone to care for their pets instead of having the neighbor kid do it. We're not the Dollar Tree. This is not a bargain type of service. You need to either be paying yourself, or if you're hiring staff, you need to be paying them at least minimum wage, hopefully more, for the care that they are providing. So this is going to cost you, and that cost rolls over to the client. There's a saying I've heard that I like that goes something like, if you chase the dollar, it will run from you. This saying has several meanings, but for me and in this video, it means if you take all comers, if you do anything to make that dollar, then you won't be successful. You will always be working harder than you want to for less money than you need to make it worth your time. When you take all comers and agree to any conditions, you will quickly lose control of your business and it will not serve you or your community well. Boundary number 2, services or kinds of services that you offer. So I recently got an email from a potential client, somebody I don't know, inquiring about dog walking service. And she asked if I could do what she described as something like a quick 15-minute walk. And she named an amount. I forget what it was, but it was at least half what I normally charge, maybe even less. So I responded politely and said, yes, you're in our service area. We'd be happy to help you. And please consult our website for the services and prices that we offer. I didn't want to get into a debate about it. I just said go to the website because the prices and services are clearly listed. So there's no question about what is offered. So she responded and said, yeah, I already saw the website, but I don't want to pay that. That's why I asked if you could do this for me. So I don't even think I replied because I get so many inquiries like that and I really don't have time for tire kickers and bargain hunters. So I don't have a problem saying no, but a lot of sitters do. And this will become a bigger issue for you as time goes on. And I've heard from many, many sitters that when questioned or under pressure, they will bend. They will lower the prices. They will change the services they offer, do shorter visits, longer visits, visits maybe outside of the service area that's too long of a drive at different times, like maybe super late at night. I don't understand this. And again, it undermines your business, and you're doing things that are outside of the norm, and it's not going to serve you well. And I can tell you that working for these kinds of clients is a slippery slope. When they start asking for things that you don't want to do and you do them, it won't be long before they're asking for another thing and another. So these situations are best just avoided by setting your services and prices and sticking to them. Boundary number 3, your schedule or scheduling. I hear from so many sitters complaining that clients call and text them at all hours of the night and expect an immediate response. Well, if they didn't get it, they wouldn't be calling. I think because we now have cell phones, it was different back in the day when we had landlines and office phones. You could turn it off and ignore it if it was in the office in your house, or it was in an office outside of your home. So you only attended to the phone calls during business hours. But now with cell phones, it's a little more fuzzy, and we also take personal calls and texts on the same phone, so it can get a little weird and crossover sometimes. But this is another really unhealthy habit. You don't want folks to have the expectation that you are available on call 24 hours a day. You want to go ahead and set your business hours. Every other business does it. You should too. Set your hours, post them clearly on your website, have an outgoing voicemail message that states what the business hours are. Folks are welcome to call or text if you do that, and you will respond within business hours. It's also very important to establish how scheduling is done, especially with something like pet sitting, where the animals are relying on you for their food and water and to be let outside to go to the bathroom. You don't want to make a mistake and miss a visit or go at the wrong time. I use an app called Time to Pet for pet sitting. There are many other apps for pet sitting, boarding, whatever your type of business is. You'll pick which one works best for you. I transitioned over to that about 2 years ago, and it just makes my life and the clients so much easier. Everybody's schedule's in the same place. They have their own accounts. They can pay through there. They get invoicing. It saves us all a lot of time. Some clients like to pay with a card. I wasn't able to do that before because I don't have an account with a credit card company. Now they pay through the app, and for pennies on my end, it's very convenient for me to get paid that way. It's also convenient for the client. Some of the things I like about using an app are that it puts the responsibility on the client. They can enter their dates. If they later think that you came on the wrong day or there was a mistake, they're the one who scheduled it. And I always encourage folks to check and double check their dates, make sure. Sometimes a husband and wife will disagree on what day they're leaving or coming back, and they can check that anytime from their phone. This type of scheduling greatly reduces the chance of a miscommunication or a mistake, of a missed visit or a visit done at the wrong time. If you're doing your scheduling multiple different ways, by phone, by text, by email, there's just so many more chances for something to go wrong when you enter that into your schedule, that you put it on the wrong week or something like that, or you are busy when you see the email and you forget to do it later. There's just too many chances for a mistake. That's why I like using one way. Now, many sitters are using these apps now, but when the clients don't want to use it because it's different, they're allowing them not to. Again, this is a problem. If you now have an app, an email, and 20 other ways to schedule, there's more chance of a mistake. And that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid. If folks are having difficulty understanding the app, maybe go over and show them how to use it. Help them download it on their phone. They're not that difficult. There's not a lot that the client has to do on their end other than pick dates and pay their bill if they wish to do it that way. And that makes it so much easier and secure for everyone. Another nice thing about using an app is that you can set the time blocks that you use for your scheduling, so it avoids people trying to schedule at 10 or 11 o'clock at night or whatever else that you don't do, or exact times. It's difficult to schedule exact times because you're out on the road, things may happen. So most sitters will have like a 2-hour block time period where someone wants, say, a midday dog walk or a late afternoon or late evening, something like that. So you can set all that up so the scheduling can only be done the way you want. Boundary number 4. I almost didn't do this one because I was thinking more of the business and financial aspects, but this one is just as important. I will call this social. Now, as pet sitters, we are kind of in a unique situation. We're sort of like other home providers, maybe like nannies or personal assistants or housekeepers. We're working in people's homes. We see them in their homes. Sometimes they're in their bedclothes or their clothes they wear around the house. We're in the house, going into the cupboards, feeding the pets. We see their personal belongings, their bedrooms. Sometimes the clients are home, like if you're doing walks for someone who works at home or can't walk the dog themselves. So you might talk to them, you might get friendly with them, talk a lot. They may talk about personal things. You may meet their other family members, their kids. At some point, it starts to feel really personal, like you have a personal relationship with this person, but you don't. You are working for them. It's a professional relationship, and it's really important to keep that boundary, and I'll tell you why. Now, I'm not saying that a client can't ever become a friend. I live in a small town, so it's not hard to make friends. The same people that I work for, we all shop at the same grocery store, we eat at the same restaurants, and we see each other walking down the street. So it's kind of hard not to have close personal relationships with some of the people that you work for. But still, in general, I like to keep it professional. And for me, this keeps things just on the up and up as far as running a business, getting paid, keeping things cool and professional. I like to have what I call a friendly working relationship with people. I'm very friendly. I'll chat with them when I see them at a street fair or something. But I do keep that boundary with pretty much all of my clients. There have been a few exceptions over the years that became friends, but very rare. I call this social assumption, where we have an assumption of a relationship with someone that we don't. So we are assuming that we have a different level of relationship with these people than we actually do. And this can lead to some problems, like providing services for free or cheap, because if it's your friend, why would you charge them all this money to care for their animals? They may expect favors from you, or expect you to not follow your rules, answer calls in the middle of the night, things like that. Do extras that you would do for a friend as opposed to a business relationship. Another aspect could be your own disappointment. When you believe that you have a personal relationship and then something happens, to make it clear that you don't. If that client gets upset with you for one reason or another, they can turn on you in a hot minute. Now, maybe they're justified, maybe you made a mistake and the concern was deserving, but still, you will find out pretty quickly the difference between a business relationship and a friend relationship. Let's compare our businesses to others just to illustrate the absurdity of not setting boundaries. You take your car to a mechanic. They say the repair is going to cost $500. You say, I can't afford that. I'm only going to pay you $100. Are they going to repair your car? Probably not. You go online to order tickets for a performance. Let's say the tickets cost $300. You say, $300? I don't want to pay that up front. I want to go see the show first. And then if I'm not satisfied, I'm not going to pay it. I'm going to complain about it. Can you buy the tickets? No. There's only one way to buy them, and that's by paying up front. You order a cup of coffee at a coffee house. It costs $3. You say, $3? When I was in high school, it cost 50 cents. Are they going to sell you the cup of coffee for 50 cents? No, they're going to say, every year we've raised our prices to go along with the market rates and cover our expenses. If you want that cup of coffee, you got to pay the $3. So they sound silly, but they all happen in the world of pet sitting. I met with a potential client a few years back. I even went to their house, met with them, thought we were clear on prices, spent a lot of time meeting the dogs and everything. And then when they asked for the prices, I was like, I think I already gave it to them. When I said how much it was going to cost, they immediately got quite rude and said, oh, well, we're used to paying less than half that. I thought, well, being rude is not the way to get me to change my prices. So I said, well, that's great. If you can find somebody who can do it for that, then go ahead. Because I'm not going to budge on that. I'm not chasing that dollar. I offer a service for a price, and that's the end of it. I've also had potential clients balk at paying up front. I take payment up front at the beginning of service, or weekly or monthly for dog walking, whatever I work out with the client. Now, this works for me and for most pet sitting businesses. It may be different for another kind of business, say like construction, where there are a lot of variable costs and the homeowner is billed at the end of the time of service. However, they have some other options in businesses like that. If you don't pay your construction bill, they can sue you and put a lien on your house. So for us, a few $100s is a lot of money, that we get from a lot of different clients, but it's not really worth having to go to collections or sue somebody. You know, it's a lot of work for a smaller amount of money. So paying up front, if that works for you, go ahead and set that boundary. I have had some folks say they don't want to do that. They are used to paying for services after they are rendered. And I've explained, you know, that's the policy. And if I have to hire someone to do billing, I'm going to have to raise prices because I don't have time to do billing myself and to chase people down for money weeks or months after I've performed the service. And also I've said to a couple people that I didn't know that I had just met that if they were really that concerned about the level of service, then they shouldn't hire me or my company. That they shouldn't leave their home in the care of someone that they don't even want to pay because they're that worried about the care. And if that's the case, they should go with somebody they already know or maybe take their dogs to a kennel. Pet sitters go into fits about raising prices, and I don't know why. You just set your prices, you do it once a year, whatever works for you, send out a notice to the clients, change it on your website, that's the end of it. Everything goes up in price. Groceries, lunch, car repairs, plumbing, everything goes up in price and nobody ever questions it. I don't know why we as pet sitters are so worried about what people will think. Again, you need to keep track of how much you need for your business to be successful and what the current market rates are and raise it accordingly. So how do you fix this? If you're struggling with these things, how do you change your attitude and your actions about setting boundaries? The answer is going to seem very simple. Just do it. Start doing it. Learn to say no. Learn to decide what you want to do and do it and stand up for yourself. I'm telling you, I guarantee you, the more you do it, the easier it gets. When someone calls, you say no. That's easier because you don't have to see them. An email, through text, if you meet somebody in person, same thing. Stick to your guns, stand up for yourself. Every time you do it, it gets easy. I guarantee you will be happier, your business will be more successful, and you will attract more high-quality clients who are willing to pay for your service and who appreciate what you do for them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. I would love to hear about your experiences with setting boundaries. Have you come into contact with any of these that I've talked about today in this video? Are there other things that you've had a problem with? I'd love to hear about it in the comments.